Hello everybody and welcome back to Bring Your Own Popcorn and welcome to another first time watching video. And in this video we are going to be continuing on watching through the Predator franchise. Yes, I've watched the first two Predator films. I enjoyed the first one, didn't think it was one of the greatest action movies of all time, but I did enjoy it. The second one I was a lot more mixed on. I didn't love it. I thought it was okay, but I didn't love it. And so today we are going to be watching, I think it's a bit of a reboot, this movie, the third installment. I think it's a kind of soft reboot of the franchise, and that is Predators. I am pretty excited to watch Predators, especially because I think it is a soft reboot for the franchise. I think that's what this franchise kind of needed after number 2, I'm not gonna lie. I know nothing about how this one was received by critics or audiences, so I'm just going to go into it blind and we'll see what I think. So, let's go down and get the film off the shelves. Okay, let's go down here, and I'm pretty sure my Predator box set is right here. Here we go, and in today's video we'll be watching Robert Rodriguez. Okay, I didn't know that. Did he direct? It says presents, so I'm going to assume he maybe produced it. But yeah, we're going to be watching Predators. Okay, so here we go with Predators. Let's read the back and see what this film's all about. Robert Rodriguez presents Predators, a bold new chapter in the Predator universe. Adrien Brody, okay, he's a pretty well-known actor. I don't think I've seen much with Adrien Brody, but I'm pretty sure he's won an Oscar. So Adrien Brody stars as Royce, a mercenary who reluctantly leads a group of elite warriors in a mysterious mission on an alien planet. Except for a disgraced physician, they are all cold-blooded killers. Mercenaries, mobsters, convicts, and death squad members. Human predators. But when they begin to be systematically hunted and eliminated by an unimaginably horrifying alien, it becomes clear that suddenly, they are the prey. If a synopsis on the back of a Blu-ray could hype me up, that's a good way to do it. So yeah, I am excited to get into Predators. Finally, the sequel that the original deserves. I hope so. Okay, let's take the disc out, bring it over here, and pop it into the player. Wait for it. Wait for it. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. I am pretty hyped to get into Predators. I hope it's a worthy sequel to the original film. So without further ado, let's watch it.
How do we kill them? However you can.
Okay, so I just got done watching Predators for the first time, and thankfully after the disappointment which was Predator 2, I really enjoyed this one. As I said at the start of this video, I had no idea what I was going to think of this one. All I knew about it was a kind of soft reboot for the franchise, because I think between Predator 2 and this movie there was a 20-year gap, which is a massive gap between sequels, so I think this was intended to kind of reboot the franchise. And yeah, I didn't know what critics thought about it, I didn't know what audience thought about it, so I had no idea what my thoughts of this one were going to be. And yeah, I actually enjoyed this one a little bit more than the original. I know that's a very controversial opinion, please don't come at me guys, this is just my personal opinion, but I would say this one is pretty on par with the first Predator film, but I give this one the slight edge. This was just a really, really fun film, and whilst it definitely did have some issues, I thoroughly enjoyed it. In terms of story, it is pretty formulaic, but overall I think it's handled pretty well. I do think the biggest drawback for this film is how similar it is to the original Predator movie. It is pretty much the exact same story as the first Predator film, except instead of one predator hunting them down, there are now multiple predators hunting them down. The one reason why I will give this one the slight edge over the original Predator movie is how much more I connected with the characters in this one. Don't get me wrong, I do like the characters in the original Predator film, but they are rather disposable. They aren't really explored much, and they are just kind of there for the Predator to hunt down and kill. With this film, we really got to know these characters, and the stakes feel even higher because of it. The film does a really good job of making these bad people really likeable, because these people aren't good people. These characters are established at the start of the story as being bad guys, but you can't help but root for them. It's a really fun, fast-paced runaround, and the film does a really good job of keeping things very tense throughout. There were a couple of instances in the film where I felt things slightly dragging, but overall I thought the pacing of the film was handled really well. As I said though, I do think the main drawback for this movie is how similar it is to that first Predator film. A location change or something to just give this one its own identity, not just a similar looking jungle to the first film, I think would have benefited this movie a great deal. But overall, I still had a lot of fun with it. In terms of direction, Nimrod Antal, please excuse me if I'm completely butchering that name, but I think he does a pretty good job here. In terms of the bad, there were some really poor uses of CGI in this movie, which just haven't aged well at all. There were these kind of dog things in the movie, I don't know how you would explain them, kind of predator dogs in a way, and they looked terrible. The CGI on them looked so fake. Also, whenever a gun is fired in this movie, it looks terrible. It looks like one of those like drag and drop effects that you would get on like an iPad. You know what I mean? It just didn't look like they were actually firing a gun. However, in saying that, I do think the direction was good on the whole. The action is all shot superbly for the most part, with really good choreography and cinematography. The practical effects also looked amazing. The Predator's design just looked fantastic, I thought, and I really loved the on-location shooting for this one. It just looked beautiful. So yeah, there were a few drawbacks in terms of direction. The CGI in particular needed work, but overall I think this director done a really good job. In terms of performances, I thought they were excellent. I thought everyone performed their absolute heart out here. I thought Adrian Brody was a really good choice for the lead. He really sells himself as the hard man in this movie, and I didn't think he'd be able to pull it off, and lo and behold he did. He does a really good job here. Alice Braga is also amazing in this movie, and I think she gives my favourite performance of the film. She is truly wonderful here. Topher Grace was also surprisingly good, and I was especially surprised by this because the only real experience I've had seeing Topher Grace act was his really underwhelming Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3. So it was surprising to see he gave a really good performance here. The whole supporting cast were great here too. Mahershala Ali, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. He was in this movie, he was great. Danny Trejo was in the film. It's always amazing to see Danny Trejo. And Lawrence Fishburne's in this movie, albeit for about 10 minutes. But this just shows you how great Lawrence Fishburne is. He makes a really big impression despite being only in the film for like 10-15 minutes. Overall, Predators was a really fun time with some really nice character work and some brilliant action set pieces that I honestly think anyone could get something out of. Even though my scores for this film and the original Predator movie are the same, I controversially will give this one the edge over the original because I just connected with the characters a lot more. What else can I say? I really like the character work in this film. I really wish that they'd given this one a sequel because it ends on a cliffhanger, kind of an open ending for a possible sequel in the future, and I'm pretty sure the next Predator film, which is called The Predator, it kind of goes in its own direction with things. So it's a shame that this never got a proper sequel because I would have loved to have seen it. This one gets my recommendation and I would give it a 7 out of 10. It is a really fun film. But that's just my opinion. Please let me know down in the comments what you think of Predators. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's just alright? I love reading your comments and I try and respond to every single one of them. Thank you everyone for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.